Hey everyone, Scott with Air Gunner Review. So this is going to be my third test on concealed carrying with my Pistelle x68 punctured. It's going to be probably like another 2 hours or so. My first test had the original O-rings and they did fail. My second test was with the O-rings that are in here. These are the aftermarket, and after 2 hours it did fire fine, and these are the same original ones that replacement ones that I had are still in here. This time we're going to be a good 2 hours out. Heat has definitely something to do with it, because this is going to warm up at least 8 degrees, I think the last time anyway. So we're going to test it again. 59.4 degrees. It's probably because it's cold right here right now. Usually it's about 70 degrees. I expect it to be about 78 degrees when we get back. So we're going to puncture it right now. Time right now is about, I don't know if you can see that, but just about 9:35, and let's hit it. We are all juiced up, going into my holster, and we will see you on the other end. All right, it's been about 3 hours and 10 minutes. Yep, time right now is 12:45. Hopefully you can see that. All right, let's see how warm it is. 83.5. That's pretty warm. Let me check the other side. Even warmer, 84.4. Okay, so that's what happens when you carry. It gets much warmer. That means you have more of a chance to blowing a seal on something like this, or an O-ring. So let's see what happens here. Let's see what happened here. Clear here. No, I don't know what's going on here. Hold on, guys. I got to get this thing going right here. All right, here we go. Shot one. Let's see if this even works. Here we go. Oh, 366, but the seals, I can tell the O-rings did go. Yep. Okay, failure. Unfortunately, I will have to rip this apart. Take a look and see what exactly failed. Just to point out another little fact is that you are not supposed to leave your marker punctured like I have. That is just a no-no. I have never had a failure with my Pistelle with just puncturing and firing it. I would still even probably have the same original O-rings in there if I had not have tried this. This is my third try with it. But I wanted to see if the aftermarket O-rings, which in this case are the O11s, and these are the 90 Duro, and also the Mr. O-ring they're the Nitro Buna O-rings, and these are also 90 Durameters. Both seem to do quite well in this marker, but again, you know, what I'm doing is just extreme, especially when you conceal carrying. That's you're getting such an extreme temperature. You definitely have an issue when that occurs. So we're going to take this apart. Now, last time I didn't hold the trigger down, and as I was pulling this out, there was a terrible popping noise. So we're going to see if that occurs again. Now, with this, if you've watched Sean from Less Lethal for Dummies, he had a problem with removing this right here, and I'm going to have the same problem. And the reason why it's much thicker on the yeah. So I can't see anything in there right now, but definitely going to be harder. So I'm going to have to take a wooden dowel and hopefully I'll be able to push this out. I'm not sure, but so this was just a little bit too wide. What I ended up using was an extension for a socket extension. And unfortunately, I did it outside, so I can't show you. But basically what I did is I stuck it in here with the gun like this, and I just gave it a tap, and voila, it did release it. So, and that is due to the O-rings being just a little bit thicker. Now we'll see if I can still get it out, which I may not be able to without giving it a little bit more oomph here. There we go. So, this is still on here, which is interesting. That is on there. That one is on here. And so is this one here. So none of those failed, but it is the little guy right here that did fail. I am going to replace them. This is a little loose. And it doesn't cost a whole lot to do it. So I definitely lost this one here. But again, you know, you shouldn't be you shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. But there's a couple of other things I want to point out real quickly before I replace these. They do degrade. That's why you have to do some maintenance. I want to show you the original ones that I pulled out, and you can see. Now, this one right here, every time it's failed, you're not going to find that unless I find it on the floor someplace. It shot out with the projectile, most likely. But you're going to see the difference in coloration between the original ones. This one right here was on the cap, and you can see how much lighter. The originals are very white. This is the original. This is the kit that you can buy, and you can see how white this is. Very white. It's also very rubbery, like you can feel the elasticity in it. Here is less elasticity, and you can see the coloration difference. And that was the one that was on here. But the one that is on here, which is going to be the one that gets colder, you can now see how much bluer this one is compared to this. And I think it's because it freezes more. It's also, it's not only that it discolors, it is brittle. It has now become much more brittle, and it's because it's freezing. So the idea to what I'm trying to tell you is that they do degrade. You know, over time they are going to degrade, and at some point you're going to have to replace them. Again, this discoloration is going to happen regardless, but it's going to happen more if you keep your Pistelle charged all the time, which is what I did. I've charged it and I've left it. You know, first time I left it for 2 hours, or 2.5 hours. Second time was 2 hours. So you're going to get discoloration either way you look at it, but it does degrade. So just keep that in mind. The other thing came out of here is that you cannot conceal carry. This is definitely proves that you cannot conceal carry this punctured. You may get away with it by having it sit on a table, but the added temperature that you're getting from it being concealed carried adds to the failure. So this really does kind of prove that no matter what type of O-ring that you put in here, if you're going to conceal carry, do not puncture it unless you have an emergency. Otherwise, you're going to have this problem. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to replace both of these here. Those are the O21s, and then I'm going to replace the O11 that was on here. We're going to give it another test fire and make sure everything's fine. Be right back. So the moral of the story is just simply do not leave your marker punctured. If you do, this is what can happen to it. This will last you a long time just the way it is if you just don't do what I do, and you'll be fine. Let's see if it'll shoot now. Yep, I just heard it. Let's see. There we go. Back. Luckily, these things are super easy to work on. Till next time. Thanks, guys.